tacticians, this is Imperative Obvious, your fedora-wearing Reshiram. And tonight, I'm going to be talking about something that's been happening recently. So, a few days ago, I think it was maybe yesterday, maybe today, maybe not, no, not, maybe not today. No, definitely not today, but most likely it was day before yesterday, or even yesterday. Either way, we recently got some new news for Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and it's a new Lycanroc reveal. And let me tell you, as soon as I saw the Lycanroc, I was like, cool! A new Lycanroc! And that got me thinking about stats and so on, and what kind of abilities it could have. I mean, this Pokemon, this one is a blending of the two Lycanrocs. I mean, you can see the two Lycanrocs down at the bottom of the screen, midday on the left and midnight on the right. And I love this new Lycanroc form. It looks cool. It's like huge. It's a blending of both midday, midnight. It's a blending of sun and moon. It's not one, it's not the other. It's a blending of both forms. And yet, it's getting so much hate. Why is this Pokemon, we haven't even learned anything official about it yet. Just that it's a new form, it's gonna be in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. We don't even know how it evolves. That's the strange thing. We don't know how Rockruff goes from Rockruff into this. I mean, we know how to evolve it from Rockruff into midday or midnight form, just have a different version of the game. But we don't know how to get it into Dusk form, and that is what's strange. That's the only thing that I'm confused about. Everything else I am excited for. But recently, Lycanroc Dusk form, I believe it's called, is getting so much hate, and I don't understand why. At the same time, though, I sort of can understand it. I mean, we've gone, let's see, I believe we've gone several months now, I believe 2 or even 3 months, without any kind of new news about Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon official news besides the original trailer. And that was just like the end of a trailer for, I believe it was Pokken Tournament or something like that. And now that we finally get news, everyone is extremely hating towards this game. Really, people? You get news finally. You get news after, I believe it was maybe 59 or 58 days. You finally get some news, a teaser image about a new Pokemon form, and you're hating on it because it's not that different. Look at it. It's Dusk Form Lycanroc. It's not meant to be a new form. I mean, when you look at midday and midnight Lycanroc form, yes, they aren't the same. But at the same time, when you look at them, they sort of do have some similarities. You look at midday form, it's got that, I mean, it's got the muzzle, the same muzzle. You can see a bit of the ligature or I don't know if that's actually a term, but you can see the legs in between midday and midnight. They're sort of similar, but they're also at the same time slightly different. Obviously, the mane of Lycanroc, midday and midnight, they're obviously very different. I mean, you got the little rock tuff around the neck for midday, and midnight form doesn't have that. Instead, it's got this sort of spiky, I'm gonna say a mohawky style fur or rocky fur on its back that spikes forward. And obviously one is standing on all 4 paws and the other one's standing on 2. But that's the point. They're supposed to be slightly different. And Dusk form is sort of taking the two. It's neither one, but at the same time it's all on its own. Sure, it's not completely different, but I think people forget how evolution works. I mean, they're not supposed to drastically change. I mean, not most Pokemon don't drastically go through an alteration or so when they evolve. If they're evolving into another evolution form of theirs, it's gonna look slightly different. I mean, let me see if I can take it. Let's take the evolutions, for example. I mean, when you look at the evolutions, now you can see them on screen right now, but when you look at the evolutions, Eevee has at least 8 different forms for when it evolves from Eevee into whatever evolution it evolves into. I mean, when you take a look at the first 3 evolutions: Jolteon, Vaporeon, and Flareon. I actually said Vaporeon twice there, but when you look at the original 3 evolutions, they weren't that all similar, or at least they weren't that all different from one another. I mean, you can see their paws are similar. Their paws are very similar. Their ears only differ when it comes to Vaporeon. The tails especially differ from one another, but that's only because of the stone evolution. I mean, and they even have similar eyes. They have similar eyes. They have similar faces. Other than the tails, and their color scheme and the ears. Even the ears, though, there wasn't that much alteration between them, and yet nobody hated on the evolutions. When you take a look at Umbreon and Espeon, what's the difference between Umbreon and Espeon? Well, obviously one is black and the other one is purple. But when you look at the ears are especially different, and the tail is especially different. But when you look at the eyes are somewhat similar. The eyes are somewhat similar. So nothing wrong there. I mean, Espeon has a jewel between its eyes, and Umbreon doesn't have that jewel. But there's not that much differences between the evolutions. Then you look at Glaceon and Leafeon. Well, there's a lot of differences between Leafeon and Glaceon, but you can still see the similarities. The legs are somewhat similar. The ears aren't. The ears are very different. And the tail is especially different between the two of them, but there is a sort of similarity between Glaceon and Leafeon, and that is what I don't understand. There is just enough differences to make them obviously different from one another, and yet no one hates on the evolutions. Now, I'm not saying this to hate on them. I mean, I love all of the evolutions, but I am drawing some similarities. When I look at the evolutions and compare them to Eevee, I do see a lot of similarities between Eevee and its evolutions. And that is what I'm confused with when it comes to the Lycanrocs. So, I mean, I'm gonna take a look at Sylveon right now. I mean, Sylveon doesn't share that many similarities between Eevee, but again, I can see some similarities between Sylveon and Eevee. The ears aren't exactly the same, but I can see some similarities between Eevee's ears and Sylveon's ears. The body shape is sort of similar, but again, just that different to be completely different from its evolution and pre-evolution form. The paws are also somewhat different. I mean, obviously they're a little longer, but that's about it. And the tail is especially different, but you know what? I think that's just the differences with the fur. But in any case, that's all I have to say on when it comes to the evolution. So going back to Lycanroc forms, I don't understand what is with all this hate towards the new Lycanroc form. I mean, it's Dusk Form. It's meant to be, you know, that phase between night and day. It's not meant to be wholly different. It's supposed to be a blending of the two. It's part day and part night. I mean, you can see it even in the background of the game. Dusk is orange. It's like that. You can see it changing from like sun, which is supposed to be red and yellow, to like to sun or to night time, which is like blues and purples. You can see it going from one phase to the next, even when it's sunrise or sunset. That is what dusk is all about. I mean, you can see the differences you can see the similarities between both midday and midnight found in Lycanroc Dusk Form. I mean, it's got the same body stature as Lycanroc. You can see the similar faces between the two. It's got a similar rocky mane as found on Midnight form. It even has like a similar. It's got that little, you know, that rocky mane around its neck and so on, which is eerily similar to what you can find in the Ultra Sun logo. You can see it right there on the logo. It's meant to be, you know, the phase between both sun and moon, and that is why I like Lycanroc, or Lycanroc Dusk Form. It's not night, and yet it's not day, but at the same time, it's similar. It's a blending of the two. So that's all I have to say on this subject. I've pretty much said all I've had to say on the subject defending Lycanroc Dusk Form. I don't understand what is the hate going on for this new form. I personally love it. I can't wait to see what its stats are. They're probably going to be equally the same as both Midday and Midnight. They're probably going to be somewhat similar to one and similar to the other, yet at the same time differentiating itself from the two. It's probably going to have similar abilities. I would be very surprised if it had both Sand Rush or Sand Force or Sand Rush, similar to Midday Lycanroc, which had the Sand Rush ability, making it twice as fast in a Sandstorm. And I'd be even more surprised if it had no guard, the same thing as Lycanroc Midnight form, making it hit moves that otherwise would have a chance of missing, but likewise will be hit by moves that would otherwise have a chance of missing. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is just me defending Midday, or not Midday, Dusk Form Lycanroc. Oh my goodness, I'm already going to be having trouble with this new Lycanroc form. And in case, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will see you tacticians next time. Bye bye.